생각은 대충인데 진짜가 약간 많이 되고 많이 생각을 하고.
阿少，就是嘛，你看一脚叉。
脚上。
要的做是蛮。
Sarah Lee was only 5 years old when lost and found. Lost Indian boy finds his mother 25 years later. Was only 5 years old when he got lost. He was working with his older brother as a sweeper on India's train. Together they traveled hundreds of miles up and down the vast network. It was late at night. We got off the train, and I was so tired that I just sat down at the train station, and I ended up falling asleep. The faithful Ned would determine the rest of his life. He thought his brother would come back for him, but when he woke up, the brother was nowhere to be seen. There was a train in front of him. Perhaps his brother was on board. He got on it to look for him. However, Saru did not meet his brother on the train. Instead, he fell asleep again, and when he woke up 14 hours later, he had a terrible shock. There were hordes of people, pushing, rushing, speaking in an unfamiliar tongue. He had arrived in Kolkata, India's third biggest city and notorious for its slum. He was nearly 1,500 kilometers, 930 miles from his home. Soon he was living rough. It was a very scary place to be. I don't think any mother or father would like to have their 5-year-old wandering around alone in the slum and train stations of Calcutta. I was scared. I didn't know where I was. The little boy learned to fend for himself. He became a beggar, one of the many children begging on the streets of the city. Once he was approached by a man who promised him food and shelter, but Saru had learned to be suspicious of such people and run away. In the end, he was taken in by an orphanage and put up for adoption. He was adopted by the Briley, a couple from Tasmania, Australia. I accepted that I was lost and that I couldn't find my way back home, so I thought it was great that I was going to Australia. Saru settled down well in his new home, but as he got older, the desire to find his family became increasingly strong. The problem was that as an illiterate 5 years old, he had not known the name of his hometown. All he had to go on were his vivid memory, so he began using Google Earth to search for where he might have been born. It was difficult, but eventually Saru hit on an effective strategy. I multiplied the time I was on the train, about 14 hours, with the speed of Indian trains, and I came up with a rough distance, about 1,200 kilometers. He drew a circle on a map with its centers in Calcutta, with its radius about the distance he thought he had traveled. Incredibly, he soon discovered what he was looking for, the town of Kandwa. When I found it, I zoomed down and bang, at the waterfall where I used to play. He journeyed to Kandwa. He found his way around the town with his childhood memory. Eventually, he found his home, but it was not what he had hoped for. It looked old and shabby, as if nobody had lived there for a long time. A neighborhood said that his family had moved. Then he struck gold. Another neighbor said he knew where his mother lived now. The man guided Saru to where their 3 women stood waiting. He stared at them blankly. Only the woman in the middle seemed remotely familiar. The man gestured towards her. "This is your mother," he said. She had been young, in her 30s, the last time he saw her. She looked so much older now, but behind the weathered face there was something unmistakable, unforgettable. His mother, Fatima. The last time I saw her, she was 34 years old, and a pretty lady, I have forgotten that age, would get the better of her. But then I recognized her, and I said, "Yes, you are my mother." She grabbed my hand and took me into her house. She couldn't say anything to me. She had a bit of trouble grasping that her son, after 25 years, had returned. She had long feared I was dead. Fatima had searched the train stations for her missing son, but she had never ventured as far as Calcutta. She couldn't imagine he had gone so far. However, she had never lost hope. A fortune teller had told her that one day she would see her son again, and what of the brother with whom Saru had originally gone traveling? Unfortunately, the news was not good. You see, a month after I disappeared, my brother was fallen in two pieces on a railway track. We were extremely close, and when I left my mother, I was heartbroken knowing that my older brother had passed away. His mother had never known whether foul play was involved or whether the boy had simply slipped and fallen under a train. Saru Ridley's lifelong wish had been to see his mother again. He felt incredibly grateful that this wish was granted. He had kept in touch with his newly found family, and now Hollywood studios are eager to make a film of his amazing story. Okay, so where did Saru fall asleep? So where Saru fall asleep, fall asleep at the train station. How old was he? He was only 5 years old. Why was he scared? Which city was he in? He was scared because he was scared because it is a strange place for him. Which city was he in? He was in Calcutta. The Indians thought because when he woke up he found a bunch of people pushing Russian speaking in an unfamiliar tongue. Okay, so how do you think he ended up in Australia? He ended up in Australia because he thought that as he was lost and he couldn't find his home, find his way back home, so it's a great idea to go Australia, and therefore he just accepted the adoption. What do you think is the significance of 14 hours? And I don't know how to say that the significance of. Okay, I zoomed down and banged the waterfall where it used to be. How did he zoom down? What did he find? He zoomed down the map, right? He zoomed down on the map in Google Earth and just found it. Why didn't he recognize his mother at first? Because she was he only remember when he was in he only remember the last time he saw his mother was 34 years old. He was still very young and pretty lady, but when he found that his mother was already kind of like 25, so like 50, over 50, so he couldn't recognize it at first immediately. So what did his mother do? What couldn't she do? His mother grabbed his hand and took him into his heart, but she couldn't say anything to him because she has a bit of trouble grasping that her son after 25 years old had returned. What did his mother do? What couldn't? Okay, read Saru's full story. Are these statements true or false? Correct the first one. Saru and his brother both had job cleaning the train. Correct. Saru fell asleep at the station in Calcutta. Wrong. Indians trained to false. He lived on the street and continued to work on the train. False. He was given food and shelter by a man. True. Not false. False. He was adopted from an orphanage by an Australian family. True. He had a happy childhood in Tasmania. So yeah, true. When he found his hometown, his mother was still living in the family home. False. He moved back to live with his birth family. False. Keep in touch with your boy. He didn't live together, so false. What do you think? Would Saru be happy living back in his hometown? Of course, because he loved his family members and he would love to stay right there, and only of his eagerness he was finally able to find his family. Why would his story make a good film? Because there's a long many twisting in his life, you know. And the good thing is that at the end of the, if it makes as a movie, at the end of the movie it will be a great ending. Therefore it's a good thing to make a film. And who was in your class had ever used Google Art? And it's me, because I don't know who, but for me I have already uses Google Art for like finding my town, finding my place, you know, where it would be. Or I have already found the place that I have never known it before, so it's a good thing. So find the highlighted words or phrases in the text, work out the meaning from the context. So it's my job for faithfulness. It's gonna become like a long journey for me to start studying, because I always ended up, you know, always talking about that. So faithfulness. So this gonna be kind of like real quick for now. Now I'm gonna grab this one of the tenses. So yeah, tenses are also I'm gonna use some, yeah, I gotta have to make tenses. Tense system. There are three classes of verb in English: auxiliary verb, modern verbs, and full verbs. Okay, so verb mastering: auxiliary verb shime, modal verb shime, and full verb shime. One of the auxiliary verb are verb to be, verb to do, and verb to have. Okay, the auxiliary verb solution: verb to be, verb to do, verb to have shime. So be is used for verb plus verb ing to make continuous tense form. So you see here is verb to be, verb to do, verb to have, because I don't want to line with them. Or auxiliaries are verb to be, and verb to have. Okay, auxiliary verb မှာဒီသုံးလုံးပါမယ်ပြီးဆိုလို့ရှိရင် continuous form လုပ်လို့ရမယ် You are lying, they were reading, I've been streaming, I will be having dinner, and you must be joking. So infinitive ဆိုတဲ့ပုံစံလေးသုံးလို့ရမယ် Be is used with the past participle to make the passive လုပ်လို့ရတယ် Are printed with born, been stolen, have been destroyed, and be done. Okay, so two dictors are used for present symbols and past tense. So do and did, simple and past atone used to express emphasize when there's no other auxiliary verb. The child auxiliary verb မရှိဘူးဆိုရင်သူကအနေနဲ့သုံးလို့ရလို့ဆို emphasize အနေနဲ့လုပ်လို့ရတယ်ပေါ့နော် I do like she does have if only she had a car she does have a car why didn't you tell me I did tell you I know you okay I have is used with the past participle to make perfect verb form have you ever tried sushi my car have broken down past have broken down I would have finished future I like to have met so it's infinitive having had lunch is participle okay have and had gone are both used to express possessions in the present okay do you have you got yes I do I have I had or I've got okay so have နဲ့ have got နဲ့က express possession ကိုပြဖို့တုံးနေပေါ့နော် I do I have I've got okay so have can can be played we have got to for present obligation have got do you have to go now so have you got to go now have you got to go now so something like that you always can express and use have or do you have to or have you got to or something like that so only forms of have not have gone you are used in all other tenses okay the child tenses do not especially it's in the present but no have you have got your present မှာတုံးနေခြင်း part channel ဘာလို့မှာဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့ have got ပို့ပြ prefer ဖြစ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်နံပါတ်4မှာကျတော့ have not have got in many expression ဘာလို့တုံးလဲ I have a breakfast I have a bed I have a party I have a good time I have fun I have a word with someone so something like that and have got is generally more informal so it's have got informal တဲ့အတွက်တော့စာမတုံးဘူးပေါ့နော်More informative it is used more in spoken English than in written English however they are often interchangeable have with the tutors forms is more common in America okay so ဒီနေ့ verb တုံးမျိုးပေါ့နော် auxiliary verb က tutors tips in question Thai it's cold today isn't it you don't know Amelia do you haven't been to China have you in short answer yes or no alone can sound abrupt so are you hungry no I'm not do you like jazz yes I do did you have a nice meal yes we did has she seen the math no she hasn't in reply question they are not really question they are used to show that the listener is paying attention and is interested they are practiced on page 29